let's back up a little bit. And as Jim's over there, I know he's going to be smirking about this. The reason why your business intrigues me, I'm the guy that woke up one Thursday morning, and went to my good friend, Norris Woody, and said, Norris, I want to run for town commissioner. What do you think about that? Joe, you're a great guy. I think you do a great job, but you've got this big learning curve. Well, I don't mind learning. So I had to hurry up, and that Friday I had to spend my $5, and
Go file.
I went and filed. Now, at that moment, my buddy was standing next to me, and as I paid the $5 and filed to run for town commissioner, he said, do you even know where the town hall Cornelius is? And I said, no, you think you could drive me by there so we could see it? And so that's how it started.
Yep.
I spent more money than any candidate has in the history of Cornelius to run for office. Spent over $19,670 to be exact for Cornelius, right? I think I got about 700 votes. You can do the math. I'd be better off to buy him a breakfast and a Snickers, right? So, and that's when I realized I had no business running. I hadn't prepared or had any idea. What I did was ran it like a small business, right? I went out and just marketed it as if I'm going to market a new product. And the truth is, if I'd have found a guy like you for half the money, you could have taught me how to actually make that work. And that's what I want people to hear, that skill matters.
Well, yeah.
You know, experience really matters.
Well, and that's what we're seeing more on the political level. North Carolina.
Wait a minute, Jim, you can stop laughing now, okay? I mean...
So you're talking to a guy who spends very little money.
I know that. I know that.
He spends very little money.
He's thinking, I didn't spend that much on the last 3 times I got elected.
Well, see, and I'll tell you, and this is the secret. Okay, you want to know the secret to not having to spend a lot of money in a campaign? Don't have one.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Don't have one. Serve the people. Make sure that it's a nonpartisan service aspect, and more than likely, you'll avoid serious challenge. But that's the business aspect,
right?
Of it. Okay, that's what I usually tell my clients. My clients are the best way to avoid a challenge or conflict. Don't have it.
How early should they get you involved? I mean, should I have called you on Thursday, or should I have called you Monday morning after I spent the $5?
Well, let's back up and talk about how that process normally works and ideal. And then let's talk about what normally happens, because the ideal never is what happens. Ideally, you'd want to start a campaign about 6 to 8 months before filing. And here's why. North Carolina has a very intricate regulatory system for its campaigns. It has a regular reporting period for fundraising, and it has a regular reporting period for how you actually spend your dollars. So both of those go on to a report that is filed with the Board of Elections. So much like public corporations, campaigns are actually public information, and you can know how much money someone's raised or how much money someone spent. And the thing that most people forget is that those become public, and you can use those to your advantage. So what I'll do, and what I've done with a lot of my clients, is I will start early. And I'll say, look, if your filing's in July for town board, let's start in February. Let's start raising money, building a campaign committee. Let's get everything put together so that in May, when people start thinking about it, we're already having a fundraiser. We've got a host committee put together and an executive committee put together.
And you've locked in some
And
supporters.
you've locked in the support. And you know what happens then?
So Thursday was a little late.
But I have had people call me, say, I just filed. What do I do? And I'm like, well, let's go talk. Let's go sit down. But this is where you talk about...
The reason why I want people listening to hear this is because we do need more business people in the process.
Absolutely.
It's why I love Jim.
Absolutely.
It's why I love Jeff. These guys understand small business.
Yep.
They bridge the gap between these relationships, and they spend the time and energy that most of us don't want to spend to do this kind of stuff. And a guy like you gives hope and an opportunity to succeed in an area where normally they just wouldn't know how to get started.
Well, and this is where, when you talk about what it is that to actually be a business person involved in politics, I like to say that most business people like to bring common sense to the political arena. Because, you've got folks
and
on
practical
thought.
consideration. Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a moment. I don't want somebody who's going to make, and this was actually a very interesting quote, and this is going to, I love to reference this. Richard Nixon. one of the greatest quotes I ever heard Richard Nixon when he was given an interview. He said, "Look, the best presidents in history are the ones that made people feel good, but when they came time to make the decision, were cold, calculating, and they understood what was at stake. And they made a business decision for what was in the best interests of the country. It may not have made everyone happy, but it was in the best interest of the country." And I'll tell you who made an interesting business decision just yesterday was our own governor.
Yes.
I did not expect he took a deal, which was essentially the same deal but worse for him yesterday with the repeal of HB2. But that's what you do.
Right.
That's why I think when you look at what happens in politics, more often than not, this is deal making.
Right.